Okay, here is a video of one of my favorite workflows to use, and this is the InstaRisa workflow. If you guys have not heard of it, I highly suggest you looking into this. Very specifically, if you guys are doing double arch cases, I mean even denture cases, crown and bridge, 6-11 veneer type cases, this workflow will change the way you look at digital dentistry and how you do everything as far as design goes before there's any surgery even taking place. So everything's dialed in design-wise before surgery or your prep teeth or anything like that. And the reason why we can do that is because we get the most accurate facial scans that there are on the market. A lot of these scanners out there, they look great on the surface, and they do that because they come in color. The biggest difference is that when you actually turn off the color on most of these scans, the face is completely just washed out and smoothed over, and there's just tons of just missing data. It just does not look very good. When you use InstaRisa scanner, everything's there. You don't miss anything. It's a true one-to-one representation of a patient's face. It's so accurate you can actually use this facial scanner as a bite scanner, which is part of the workflow. And this just allows you to dial in everything exactly the way it looks in your design. Now, there are some caveats to that. It takes practice, right? You got to be able to capture accurate records. If you're not capturing accurate records, things are going to get thrown off, and it happens all the time. The most important thing to do when using this software is to capture the most accurate intake records that you possibly can, because everything starts from the beginning, everything starts from the pre-op scan, and from there, if you don't capture that properly, everything kind of gets thrown off. But usually 90% of the time, anything that happens on the maxillary is fine, obviously, because the maxillary doesn't move, right? Only the lower jaw moves, and that's sometimes there's little shifts and open bites or whatnot that happens there. If you're opening video, or you're just whatever it is you're doing. So they've already found all the shortcuts, so just trust their workflow, trust the process, and everything will come out exactly as your pre-design shows. Now I'm going to show you how I go about designing some of these pre-designs, and I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what I mean by turning the color off. So in exocad, everything comes in as an OBJ file, I believe, but you can turn off the color by right-clicking, and now you can see, this is true representation of what this patients look like. I can design however I design this is exactly how it's going to look in the face, and that's why I enjoy using this workflow the best, especially as a designer. Being able to use the face, there's nothing better than that. So I just get a quick few notes from the doctor how they want me to design, where they want me to set the incisal edge position, and then I just go about my business and go from there. So first things first, we're going to do that. So I'm going to bring in a tool that I use, which is my midline and incisal edge position locator. Thanks, Fernando, for designing this for me. And we're going to find our midline here on the natural smile. Oh, and that's another thing. So you can capture these faces in as many positions as you want. They recommend doing Duchenne, natural, and repose, and then from there you line them all together, and you can go back and forth between the two. So this is natural, this is where we're going to align our midline. You have repose, kind of gives us an incisal edge position, and then Duchenne kind of gives us where the, especially on a double arch case, it's going to show us where the, make sure we hide our transition line to see how much bone we need to reduce. So we're going to start off with our natural smile to decide our midline, and there's a couple ways to do this. I like doing it by just feel. You can measure the distance here, since you can't see the pupils because it's super bright light when it gets scanned. You can measure the distance between the inner canus, and then you can divide it by 2, or kind of just go by feel. I feel like with the face, if you see it here and it looks good, then it's going to look good in the mouth. So right here, I'm kind of dissecting the nose right here, and coming down and taking the eyes into my thought. And she's obviously drooping a little bit on her left side. I did have her head tilted a little bit more so that her eyes were a little bit more level, but it just looked off to me. And so, I take a look at each view to make sure she's looking straight ahead, making sure that she's not turned away anywhere. Just looking at all the views, and so that's what I decided. Doctor wants. Oh, I guess I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Okay, first we're going to start deciding where our midline is and our incisal edge position of our 2 centrals, and then we're going to work back from there. So I've decided on my midline right here. Now I'm going to decide on my incisal edge position, which we can use repose. Now, typically we want a 1 to 1.5 millimeters from the upper lip, and right now we're at about 2. So each one of these squares is a millimeter, so 2 millimeters down, 2.5 really. So we can even bring this up another millimeter, right about right there. It's 1.5 millimeters. Let's go back, take a look at our midline, make sure it's right. Okay, so looks good. And then we'll look at Duchenne to make sure the not too much of the gingiva is going to be showing, so it's right there. Yeah, I like this position right here. So we can go ahead and I'll accept this. Next thing I'm going to do is I have, out of all my cases, I save each of my designs so I can bring back in like a preset, especially with the exocad 3.2 with the wax up segmentation. It makes everything so much faster and better. So I have a couple of presets set up, and I believe we're gonna go with this one as the one that I choose. Hit no. Okay, so from here I've got my setup. I'll go ahead and move the incisal edge position into place where I want it. Now I will just also shrink, or excuse me, resize, because they're a little bit on the wide side. Bring this back down. Perfect. So now I've got my 8 and 9 set. Come to the side. We'll bring back our pre-op scans. I can see that her teeth are way out there. So I'm going to bring these forward a little bit to about right there. The plane of occlusion is a little off, so these are all erupted right here. I'm going to try and mimic the same plane that she had before. That. Okay, that. Let's make sure our molars are on the same height. Canines. Also Control Shift R to bring the grid to the front. Okay. Turn that off. That hurts my eyes. So now, looks like this is in a good position right here. We'll go ahead and save this position. Now I'm going to bring this in as my wax up because I've resized it. I can't bring in the same setup as before, so I'll go ahead and right click and edit mesh. I'm going to click on the surface, delete, right click, save, lower wax up unmerged. Okay, we're gonna hit undo and we'll hit crop. Now we'll say we're upper wax up unmerged. Save, and we'll hit cancel so they won't come back. Come on. Any day. There we go. Alright, so tools, we're going to add remove mesh. Now we're going to bring our wax ups in one at a time, an upper wax up and a lower wax up. Hit no. Hit no. Okay, the reason I like these setups so much is because occlusion's already done. There's nothing else to do unless we want to change the arch. Widen the arch or narrow the arch. Everything else is done. Kind of a great way to look at this is, let's compare this with the pre-op scan. And yeah, it does look like it needs to be a little bit wider. If you look over here, a little bit wider on both sides, right? We can check the lower. See, lower looks pretty good. We can widen it a little bit, but it follows the arch very nicely. So if we want to widen the arch, we're going to go ahead and we'll right click on our wax up. And I'm basically going to turn this into a movable library, and we'll move it using the chain mode. So we'll just go ahead and click, and it's going to segment the teeth from the wax up. Sometimes you have to go and manually correct it. Depends on how good you design your setups. And the great thing is it saves your gingiva design as well. Chain mode can be quite the pain sometimes if you don't have a nice library that's been designed properly. If you don't have a library that's been designed properly, the chain mode's next to impossible. But I could show you in another video a couple of tricks how to fix that. Okay, now we're segmented. Perfect. Just like that. Would you do the upper? And sometimes when that happens, just come to correction and then paint it yourself. It happens more than you think. It's kind of annoying, but okay. So you continue. If it doesn't highlight it properly, you just paint the whole tooth and then apply, and then you move on to the next one. Make sure you click down here so it doesn't mess up your tooth numbers. Check. So sometimes that happens. Go back, click on a different spot. That works, but I think it still missed a spot. Yep. So just paint it. Let it apply. 6, 8, 7, 8. Alright, so make sure you go back. Click on a different spot. Alright, so this one did not do it well. So just keep clicking on it, just paint it faster. Make sure you get all of it. Alright, let's go back.
Yeah, I can see it right here.
Wait, I missed one. Okay. Okay. Generate gingiva. Okay, now we basically have our library signed, ready to go. We are going to whiten this arch a little bit, I think. Tough call. Oh, there's more. This might be a call where talk to the doctor. Do you want me to widen this arch a little bit, or how much you plan on taking off right here? Because you are. We got a really nice arch form. We kind of just leave it the way that it is, which I'm kind of leaning that way because that lower arch was lined up really nicely. But just for the sake of showing you how it works now, is we'll just go ahead and tooth placement. I'll take my occlusal view. I'll go to chain mode, and from here I will lock in my 7 through 10, or sorry, my centrals, and I can just grab my disc, drag it over here like that. That's simple. Drag this one over here a little bit like that. That's simple. And then I would hit OK. And then I would do the same thing with the lower and just match it up to the other side. But I kind of like where this is. Actually, let me do it this way. I'll show you. Alright, chain mode. Lock and lock. So we want to keep our incisal edge position. Just slide it over. And slide this one over to kind of mimic it. Bring our lowers in. Okay, grab, lock in our essentials. Grab our disc. Drag it over. Perfect. Grab our disc. Drag it over. And that's it. And then from here, you can, well, let's look at the face, right? Let's look at our Duchenne, our maximum smile. Perfect. It fills up the whole mouth right there. Natural smile. Looks very nice in her mouth right there. Propose. looks very nice. So I'll go ahead and leave this here. The next thing we can do is we're going to freeform this gingiva, and we're just going to drag it over because we moved the teeth, so we need to move the gingiva just over here like this. It's not very difficult. Very simple. I like to grab it from the intaglio. Okay, and do the lower. Perfect. And so now I've got my arches designed, ready to go. Now I'm just waiting on surgery. From here, I will take my implant coordinates and align them. I will then click on, these were designed as Pontic wax-ups. So from here, you right-click on each tooth. Depending on how many implants you have, you select the implant type and then screw retain. And it doesn't matter which tooth you select as long as you select the correct number of implants that you have. Then you just line up your implants, you line up your soft tissue scan, and design your intaglio. But this is basically it as far as the pre-design goes. So this is what she looked like, or it looks like now, day of surgery. I'll go ahead and remove the teeth, put in her gingiva, and she will have a brand new beautiful smile, just like that. This is why I like using InstaRisa. I mean, this is exactly what it's going to look like in her face when she gets the prototype in her mouth. The only difference is sometimes the intake records might not be taken properly, especially with the bite, but everything else is fine. I mean, the midline is going to be spot on every single time. Curve speed is going to be perfect every time. The upper is always, pretty much always perfect because the upper doesn't move. It's the lower that we always tend to have a little issues with from time to time. That just, again, has to do with locking your patient in, make sure that they don't move while they're scanning, and those kinds of things. I hope to have some more of these for you. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you guys want to get in touch with InstaRisa, I'll leave their information down below. And tell Ben I said hello when you give him a call. Take it easy.